How is everything this evening?
Oh, lovely, absolutely delicious.
Oh, good. Can I interest you in any dessert today? Our chef has made a special triple chocolate mousse cake.
Really now? Andre made a special dessert for once?
Yes, sir. It's a smooth chocolate mousse topped with a cooled hard chocolate shell and is garnished with chocolate shavings and sits on a bed of crushed Oreo cookie crust.
Ooh. Although that is tempting, I think we're going to have to pass for tonight. But I would like 2 of your largest slices to go, please, Lisa.
All right, I'll get that prepared for you right away. I'll leave the check here and collect it when you're ready, okay?
Thank you very much, Lisa. If it's alright with you, can I pay the bill when we're about to leave? I think my lovely date needs to walk off for dinner and make some room for that chocolate cake.
Oh, of course, Mr. Price. Did you want me to add today's bill to your tab?
No, that won't be necessary today. Just tell Skylar to make it out to my account. He'll know what that means. And for you... Now you can go get that computer you've been wanting for school.
Mr. Price, I don't know what to say.
Say you'll finish that degree and aim to be the best author out there. Who knows? You might overtake me one day.
Oh, I will, Mr. Price. Thank you so, so, so much.
Shall we? Hey, don't forget your new stuffy. I would have been very disappointed if you left him behind. Well, I know how much Dumbo is your favorite. You do like elephants after all, right? Then don't leave him behind, doofus. Let me guess. You're wondering why I gave her a couple $100 in tip like that, right? Lisa was one of my best temp workers when I led my editing firm, before it was bought out. But when it was bought out, every employee from the temp agencies left with it. The person that bought my firm refused to pay her tuition even though she intended to use her degree for the company. So she left and got a job here as a waitress and has been saving as much as she can to get herself a new computer for her studies. She and I keep in touch every now and then, mainly so I can try and gain her back as one of my partners in publishing. She's a fantastic editor and one hell of a businesswoman. So if I can take care of her now, I know she'll return the favor later. Don't worry, sweetheart, there's no need to be protective. Everything with Lisa is strictly business, nothing more. You're my only baby girl, remember? Oh, who's Daddy's sweet girl, huh? Who gets all of Daddy's attention and pampering? And who loves you more than anything in the whole world? That's right, and don't you forget that. This was always my favorite place to write when I wrote my first book. So many myths and legends, so many miles of unexplored territory. Who knows what the great ocean has beneath their depths? My first novel was called Piracy. It was about a great hero searching the oceans for the fabled Isle of Moriba, where he fights for his honor and battles fierce pirates and yearns for the wisdom on where to find the fabled unicorn that can save his village from total destruction. Good luck finding it. After it completely flopped in its first few months of release, I had every copy pulled from the shelves and destroyed. The only known copy left is on my bookshelf in my office. If you would like to read it, I'd be happy to lend it to you. But only if you promise to give it back. Do you want to hear about the legend that inspired that story? How did that story go? Back when sea travel was still treacherous, and there was belief that nothing but the edge of the world was at the horizon, there was also a tale of a land of magic called Alohera. Alohera was a land filled with many magical creatures, and the one who ruled them all was the fabled fairy, Queen Mab. Mab had seen how many creatures lived in this land, and they all lived together in harmony, until one day a unicorn herd accidentally wandered through a griffin's nesting ground and almost trampled one of their cubs. A great fight broke out between the unicorns and the griffins, and soon after, the other creatures started fighting amongst themselves as well, fighting over which part of the land belonged to whom and where each creature belonged. Mab had seen and witnessed all of the chaos, and watched as the creatures divided themselves, and it brought her great sadness. So, she decided to quell the fighting by turning the creatures out into the world, past the boundaries of Alohera. The unicorns thought they would stay in Alohera with her and the fairies, as they were pure creatures like the fairies, and gloated about how their fellow creatures leaving, giving them more space in Alohera. But, little did they know, Queen Mab had other ideas entirely. She had seen the way the unicorns treated their fellow creatures, and how selfishly entitled they were acting. She couldn't tolerate such disrespect, and she wasn't going to allow such behavior to be rewarded and go unpunished. So, she scattered the unicorns into tiny herds and scattered them about the world. One unicorn herd, however, tried to beg her for forgiveness. They had done nothing wrong, and they had refused to be part of the rudeness and disrespectful display their other herdmates had made. She wanted to give them solace and say they could reside with her in Alohera with the other fairies, but what kind of queen would she be if she didn't keep her word to every creature in her domain and made exceptions? So she decided to do something that she had never done to any other creature. She used her power to break apart a small bit of Alohera, and she placed it off the shore of a land she knew these unicorns would be safe from harm. Can you see the light tower just above the horizon there? We call that Buccaneer's Island, but before pirates discovered it and took it over, Queen Mab had called it Vespera Caprina, a name that is thought to be some kind of spell she put on it protecting the island. Haven't you ever noticed how the island is never damaged during storms and hurricanes? How the lighthouse has been there for hundreds of years, yet still looks brand new? For centuries, the unicorns prospered on the island, living in peace with the earthly creatures and protecting it from intruders. But a great unknown Viking pirate anchored his boat on the shore, and sought to claim the unicorns for himself and sell their hides and horns for great sums of money, and claim the island as his own. He called upon the powers of Thor to give him the strength of 10 men to wipe out all the unicorns in the world. He declared he would stop at nothing until every last unicorn was destroyed. Queen Mab felt the distress, and with a wave of her hand, a powerful hurricane swept the Viking and his ship out to sea, leaving the island far behind him in the hopes he would never find it again. But in doing so, she had also swept the unicorns away, leaving them to thrash in the briny deep. The unicorns used their last bit of energy to unite their horns and use their last bit of magic to transform their bodies into the water around them. They rode the waves until they returned to their island, but found the Viking had returned. They were too afraid to return to their normal state, so they stayed hidden in plain sight, riding the waves and getting small glimpses of the land that used to belong to them. And every now and then, if you look really closely at the waves right before they crash into the sand, you can see a horn or a flowing mane of a unicorn coming to see if it's safe to return to land. Don't worry, baby girl. I'm sure someday the unicorns will return. When they do, I'll be sure to get a really good picture of one for you, okay? All right. Come on. It's time to get our cake from Lisa, and I think it's almost your bedtime, baby girl. We can come see the unicorns tomorrow. You'll be able to see them better in the sunlight. Hmm? You're welcome, sweetheart. I'm glad you enjoyed your birthday. Now let's go find Lisa so we can grab your cake. Yes, you can eat it when we get home, but afterwards it's straight to bed with you, understand? Who's my good girl? And who loves his adorable birthday girl? That's right. Happy birthday, baby girl.